Today is June 3rd, 2025. Yesterday in Bob Evans, some guy said, we told those people that these people already confessed years ago. It was a shower scene in the other room. We never want to hear from them again. You know, that lady and those dirty officers, May 30th, 25 at 1 o'clock in the morning, everybody heard because they sold a login. Now, how the one lady said she was mean to all those people and threatened them. They came in our office and told us. So we decided to help them. That's illegal. That's illegal. Okay? Flat out illegal. Then it takes a brain cell. One brain cell. Well, where would she be mean to you? How long has it been since she's been part of your church? 15 years. She don't go to your church. How can she be mean to you? She wouldn't have your phone number or your address. Where would she even associate with you? I did. Common sense. Common sense. Never seen him. See, in 2011, they were making up with stuff when I was going to Blaylock's. Went over and visited twice with Dave trying to find out what's going on. Because they were making up stuff then. And I didn't find out. Didn't go back. Now think about that. I had nothing to do with them. Didn't associate with them. Didn't go to church. Didn't have their phone numbers, addresses. Nothing. I actually had my own life. I had careers, being a banker, loan processor. Had my kids, my grandkids. I had my own life. I had Dave. I didn't associate with those people. Can't threaten somebody you don't see. Don't talk to them. They lied. See, it takes common sense. And then if you think Agent John and the police that were up there, some guy pulled in Walmart, said Will did see that night when he was up there. They didn't even talk to her. They never did. We would go in. We only went, if we were lucky, 4 or 6 times a year. There was one year I don't think we went twice. Dave said, I'm not wasting my gas money getting dressed up to go up there and nobody even look at us. They wouldn't. They wouldn't talk to us. They shunned us. And they were talking about communion. He said, I will not take communion with those people. They are not our church people. Oh, the FBI even heard him scream about that. They're not our church people, our church family. They wouldn't look at us. It was so bad. There was ushers standing at the door. We go to leave where they were opening the door for other people. They just stand there. They shunned us. I didn't even know their names. They wouldn't talk to us. I can tell you within 6 years, the few amount of times anybody even talked to us. And it was people from Lighthouse that went up there before. Pam and Jack went up there in 1984. Okay. Only seen them a handful of times when they visited the other church. Didn't even know our kids' names. All of them. Because I didn't see them. So for somebody that you knew 30 years ago, maybe 6 times in 6 years. Hi, how are you? How's your family? How's your kids? How are your grandkids? Polite conversation, moving on. Martha went up there. She used to go to Strangers Church. Same thing. Maybe twice. What else? Dave's brother, Jerry, his wife, Barb, and son, Joe. A handful of times, too, because there was a big falling out in like 90 to 92. His dad was remarried. He had dementia at the end of his life. He also fell and broke his hip. His second wife, Wanda, found out she had stage 4 cancer. They're in their 70s. He had a little tiny house over in Canton by the old Horseman School. She went to put him in a nursing home because she was dying. She can't take care of him. Okay? They said, you have to sign over that house. Well, she went to do it. Said, it's not your house. She said, what do you mean it's not his house? Looked it up, and it was in Jerry and Charles's name, the 2 other sons. Asked Charles Sr., her husband, when he signed it over, he said, I didn't. He said, I remember taking a drink. I felt like somebody was hitting me, but I didn't sign nothing. He told a social worker in that nursing home. She had to get an attorney. They were threatening to put that man out on the street because she didn't have the money to pay him. Okay? And they threatened to put him in jail for drugging that old man up and making him sign his house over. And they finally signed it back over for him to stay. He lived about 6 more months, and he died. Okay? When he died, she was so mad. She's dying of cancer herself. Those boys will not touch my husband. Dave, I want you to go down to the funeral home. You got this much money to spend, because when I get my insurance money from him dying, this is how much you can spend. So we went down and we stayed within the limit. She wanted, the only requirement he wanted a casket with a metal bar to seal it down. He said he wanted to make sure nothing got in there with him. So there was only like 3 or 4 options of that kind of casket. It was not cheap. Okay. And then we had a loan, and we had to go redo a loan to pay for the great big flower arrangement. And the other boys found out and told Dave off that he didn't have a right to do that for his dad. They should call him. She told us if they found out we did it, that she'd cancel everything and have her son do it. And so out of the last respect for his dad, he went down and did it. They told him off. And where he had died, the state had, where the nursing home had to have that house, she made a land contract with this couple, and they were just taking the payment. They had them take the last like $11,000 or $12,000 and finance it and then pay those boys off. So if you even pull the mortgage of Charles A. Hall Sr., the property by Horseman School, it will go from his name to Jerry and Charles's, back to his, then to the 3 boys for it to be sold to those other people, proof that they stole it. Because we went down there and had him pull it, and Dave's like, oh my God, they did it. So because there was such a big falling out, if you've seen him, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that to his dad before he died. Polite and just go on. Big ice thing between us, okay? They were there, polite conversation, okay? Dave and Elaine Stewart were there when we first started, talked to them twice, and then they got their own church. He became a pastor, so we didn't see them. His old boss, Delano Eddie, where he used to work with him, his family would come up and 2 minutes conversation and would say how the factory's doing, because it was just him and his son running it. And they would say hello, and that was it. There was times we go in there and no one would talk to us. Nobody would look at us. Ever. Dave was so mad. He said, I'm not wasting my money coming up here, driving 40 minutes from Massillon to Barberton for no one to even acknowledge us. I'm not wasting my time. So on Sunday nights, when he got home from work, a lot of times we went out to eat, went over to see Dan and his kids, or Josh, got the boat ready, went fishing the next morning. We just didn't bother. That's why Dave, even the FBI heard him scream that he would not take communion with them. They are not our church people. There was a big, so I didn't even know their names. You can't threaten people you won't even speak to you. That's stupid. Right before the FBI case in August, they had this like fair where at Pamers where they had slides. We took the twins up there. We were sitting at a table. Barb and Jerry were there. Jerry looked at me and said, "What did you expect after what your mother did?" I said, "What did my mother do? She hasn't been in Ohio for 15 years. He said, 15 years? He looked straight down. I said, 2003, she left Ohio. She's not been back. What would my mother done? 2003. 15 years she's not been here. What would my mother have done? He said 15 years, and he got up and walked off. I waited till I got home. I called my mom. I said, "What'd you do?" She said, "I didn't do nothing." I don't know what you're talking about, Karen. I haven't seen those people in 15 years. I said, "Mom, what were you supposed to have done?" She said, "Karen, I haven't associated with those people in 15 years. I have nothing to do with them, and I've not been in Ohio." I started giggling at that point. I said, "Well, why don't you just confess to it, admit to it, apologize, and we'll move on?" She's like, "I'm not admitting to anything that I didn't do. I'm not confessing to anything I didn't do. And I'm not apologizing. And I don't talk to those people, nor am I associated with them." I feel like my mother. I had nothing to do with it. It takes a common sense. I was not part of their church in 15 years. I had none of their contact information. Didn't see them. Didn't talk to them. I actually had my own life that I loved. I had Dave. I had the kids. I had the grandkids. I had careers. And we had our own life without them. And the other people wouldn't even look at us. We were up there right before the case. Some girls walked by, looked at me and Dave and said, "That's the one that her husband makes it up to other women." And walked off. We got out after church. I said, "What were they talking about? You better not be making nothing up to no women." He said they must have been talking about somebody else. But think of what they say. They're lying. The people I don't talk to said I threatened him. Dave's supposed to be the one that makes it up to women. His way of committing adultery. A lie. He's supposed to be at work. A lie that I'm mean to people I don't see or talk to. And then he has to take them out. A scam to cheat. And then the religious people, because he's cheating on me and I don't know, won't even look at us. Because he's a whore. Get the idea of what's going on? That guy in my old apartment, he's part of Bill's big scam where they were laughing. May 25th, 25 in Summit Mall. This is a big laugh up there. Okay. Everybody's talking about the Texas group threatening Michelle. Bill's big scam. They were in Hollister's laughing. Teenage boys cackling because they're teenage boys. Said, "Boy, did Bill from the Freemasons pull the biggest scam here." He had some guy break in her house and tape her showering, washing herself. Could you imagine taping somebody washing themselves and put that in another room? Then he had some guy go in and drug her up and tell her to say that. Can you imagine some guy drugging somebody up and telling them to say something like that? Then he ran a contest of who could steal her informant money with the best scam. Ran the biggest scam here, and they're cackling and fooled everybody into helping out. Well, then the Florida Drug Cartel showed up May 26, 25 at Walmart 62, walked in. We all heard they are laughing at Bill from the Freemasons' big scam in Summit Mall yesterday. Who does he think he is? And that other cartel thinking they should threaten Michelle. Do they want more? They're not the ones running this. We are. Michelle says she's really nice. I did a video of telling her because she's just a kid. She was like 18 when this started. Okay. She's probably 24. That group breaks, they dismember people. It's like, honey, get to a police station, get to the FBI office. You have information on them, they can put you in a witness protection program and move you. Okay? They'll hide you. Get to safety. Okay? She's a little kid. Said she's real nice. She even told her how to take care of herself. This no longer concerns us. Concerns her. She's out of this. It's between us and them. Nobody say a word to her what's going on. They don't need to know. Bill from the Freemasons is going to cause a drug scam. The guy in my old apartment, soon as Michelle confessed to an agent on March 27th, 25, that doctor is not one of mine, but works for them, and they lied. And that she was part of bashing my head in, and that they had tried to kill me or leave me incompetent. And it didn't work. And then that agent even got it out of Dave, that girlfriend from before me made him marry me so she could use my insurance, and that he could give her extra money, scam me into marrying me, so my dad gave him that job. Okay? And my whole marriage was a scam. Well, the guy in my old apartment, within 3 days, started pulling this whole big scam of the dirty doctor, drug to told to say it. People should be afraid of me. That he was even in the office when they were scamming that agent like he's big and tough. And they even tried to pull the scam of Melissa's kids. My God. And it's documented in Games of Pretend. Oh my God. He's pulling like every scam. He was outside my apartment saying, we all know she's in the witness protection program. We all know she can't be prosecuted. We got to, all the police departments know of the FBI case. This one. Everybody knows of it. They wouldn't dare touch her. She can't be processed. She's in immunity. We got to find somebody dumb enough to arrest her. Because if they arrest her, the agent over case has to show up and get her out within an hour. We have to make somebody arrest her. So he shows up. And I thought, why do you want him to show up to yell at some cops? Why? And then I got to thinking, well, I know they're threatening Michelle's life, and they've been leaving all kinds of threats. Why would they want him to show up? I know what do I know about them? And I'm going through. I know they work in families. I know they dismember people. I know they walk up and shoot people in the cars. What else do I know about him? And I thought, the CIA agent, the retired one, that worked for a family I worked for up in Akron. She told me all law enforcement's after the Texas group. They've killed both FBI and CIA agents. They're trying to make him show up. It's a Texas group. They're going to kill him. Because why would you want him to show up? They're already threatening to kill Michelle. The scam's run. Tell him to stay out of the hell away. They're trying to trick him into showing up. Bill from the Freemasons, his attorney friend, his dirty doctor friend helping him run this big scam, made a big mistake. I go to Altman Family Physicians on 7th Street in Canton behind Altman Hospital. I went to the doctor on Friday. The doctor, before I left, said, I want to read my notes. And she's going through and said, some office said they hired some psychiatrist on their own. That's illegal. You are not allowed as a physician to evaluate or see some patient without consent. It's HIPAA and Privacy Acts. It's a 10-year sentence. That was a stupid mistake. Got the name of the office and the dirty doctor. That psychiatrist wrote up that if she tells people that she was bashed in the head, she was devastated over a divorce. She probably beat her head in until she made it a dent. She was hurting herself. I'm like, really? You'd be passed out before you could put a dent. So they have the dirty, and they meant that that office hired them on their own. It's not my doctor. They got the office and the dirty doctor that was drugging me. The fake sodium pentothal reports. See, and no one's allowed to say a word because it was some office hiring a psychiatrist on their own. Yeah. They made a big mistake. They told on them. An office and a dirty doctor running a drug scam on someone. They gave the names. Altman Family Physicians right behind Altman Hospital on 7th Street. Get the dirty doctor's name in the dirty office. It's supposed to be an attorney and a doctor friend running a scam on their own. May 30th, 25, the dirty officers were outside. Now, saying a bunch of stuff. And they were, which needs to be addressed by the sheriff's marshals. Well, they thought on March 13, 21, it was a drug cartel impersonating the Portage County Sheriffs. They weren't out of their jurisdictions. They're not impersonating the FBI agents. They're not trying to run a scam. I reported them because, like Michelle's mother was with them, it's the drug cartel running a scam. Well, they lied to the Louisville police. They were Portage County Sheriffs out of their area illegally working a case. They're not. You need to check credentials. That wasn't them. And they were in there telling people they were FBI. Okay? And them running their scam. And they ran that scam in Walmart, the police and the FBI, of the chip to cover up the attempted murder. Amy even heard it, my neighbor at the end apartment, that it's a big scam. Teresa, RN nurse, said on a site of talking about human traffickers, they run the scam on human trafficking victims so they won't go to law enforcement, and because they won't be able to hide them, they try to keep the rape victims quiet so they don't say anything. They tell them they chip them. You tell the police, they won't be able to hide you. It's a big scam they run on human trafficking victims. Okay? I'm not the only one. All right. So I had notified them where the cartels were running the scam. Well, they were saying that they thought it was the Portage County Sheriffs and that I reported them and that they were going to make sure law enforcement didn't help me because they're dirty. They can't do that. That's a federal crime. And then they were saying the investigators found Walmart 62, where it's just a big scam from Bill from the Freemasons. We didn't think about it. It's just a scam. It's supposed to be some attorney. They said it was illegal because the attorney did it. It makes it worse illegal. Of course it does. And her husband had hired 2 men on his own and to run the scam on her. And this whole thing is a scam. Didn't think about it. Well, you should have. You should have. But that guy in my old apartment said we got to come up with somebody dumb enough to arrest her. So that agent has to show up. They're trying to trick Agent John into showing up so they can take him out like they have him. Because why else would they want him there? They're already threatening Michelle's life. Tell him to stay a hell away. Just make a nasty phone call to Louisville. She's an FBI informant in the Witness Protection Program. And no, she can't be processed. And this whole thing's a big drug scam. Melissa's a mean game of pretend. See, that's the thing. Melissa needs to be thanking God. She's a mean game of pretend. My husband, Carl, sweetest man on earth. His granddaughter, her husband, was hurting their child, and she didn't report him. Well, you can't hide abuse for long. He's in jail the rest of her life, and she went to jail as an accessory, even though she never touched her. Okay? And now she's not allowed around a child again. She went to jail for years for not reporting it. So since Melissa didn't make it up till the FBI case, there was never an emergency room report. There was never a police report. There was no prosecution because it's documented mean jokes. Like Officer John said to a bunch of men, when they said what those kids get caught taped stating, they made everything up. They were games of pretend. Like Flora said, of course it never happened. Of course it wasn't true. We made it up. They were games of pretend. And I didn't even know about that part until Flora stated it, chuckling. And she better thank God they're mean games of pretend, because she would have went to jail as an accessory for not getting them help. And then you can't say it when you don't got proof of it. because they were nothing but mean jokes. Like the investigator said, do you realize how sick this is? Karen's risking her life to get information on these people. She's almost been killed. And they're sitting around laughing, making up stuff on her like that. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. And they even talked about Melissa getting arrested in 18, her and her kids. Well, her kids are little. We don't want to put her in jail. Why don't we just write it up that she was showing off for Dave's new girlfriend, her and the kids. Just showing off. They're just mean jokes anyways. Well, that idiot in my old apartment tried to get Melissa to make a fake police report with no evidence. They had lied to her that if she said something mean about me, that they would hand her the keys to my car. And I would have to make the payments. They said, we don't work that way. We just prosecute people. And then they started turning everything around on her. Tell them to leave the dumb people alone. They just want to steal from people. They're documenting me jokes and they're interfering in an FBI case. Like that guy said in Bob Evans, those people confessed a long time ago it was a shower scene in the other room to make her look weird. They also confessed they drugged me and told me to say it too. And framed me, and it's documented. Officer Mark documented August of 23 that it's documented and verified she was framed before. And they consider Bill from the Freemasons and that a dirty attorney friend and dirty doctor friend on the scam form as drug cartel. There's a drug cartel in our home before. We've seen them. And it's documented and verified another woman was using her insurance, and it's documented and verified it was a medication error that made her sick before. FBI informant. But he needs to stop they need to stop playing with the dumb people and trying to entrapment of tricking people into doing stuff that they're going to end up in jail. Just like Dixie. The laws of surveillance, doctors can never tape you unaware because they have been privacy acts. You can't set up button cameras or listening devices because of it's cyber stalking, right to privacy. Now, we all know you can take your phone, you can record cookouts, family get-togethers, meetings, events. It's the United States. You just hit click and you can record. You don't need nobody's permission to put it up on Facebook, right? Because it's legal. You don't need somebody's permission. The laws under surveillance is Ohio is a one-party law. Just for conversations only. You can hit record on your phone. It's like being at a party, event. You can record it. Okay? You can put it up on Facebook. YouTube. You can do whatever you want. But only a conversation. And only like with a cell phone. You can't leave it running because then it's stalking. But only during the conversation if you didn't do anything to the person. I asked Dixie permission. Can I tape you of knowing of Melissa's mean games to pretend they were laughing about? Yes. And of Dave knowing of the gunshot, breaking of the gunshot, yes. And it's okay if I taped you before? Yes. She even gave permission on tape. And then it's already legal. And it's the only thing legal. They had lied to her that she could extort money out of the FBI and out of my new husband, Carl, for giving me permission to tape her. You can't. They're trying to trick her into trying to extort money. So she goes to jail. Leave the dumb people alone. Leave the dumb people alone. It's called entrapment. But I need somebody called to Louisville, please. And you need to have a talk with Agent John. Stay the hell away from Louisville. Okay?